Hi guys, happy Friday. So I got my COVID shot yesterday and I feel like crap today. Wow. Nothing like it's like the flu. It feels like the flu. So it's just bleh, not fun. But yeah, oh my god, I have never had so many people tell me yesterday's video that I smile. It's nice to see me smile or something like that. I was like, whoa. I'm not used to smiling this much, and I'm still smiling amidst being injected with probably nano chips and all that crap. And yeah, so yeah, you're right. You're right, Poppy. Okay, so Cornish Myth and Magick. So we're gonna go over this book. It's incredible. Between the Realms, amazing book by, who's it by? Cheryl Strafan. And it's just all the different, like, the myths and the origins and, you know, all the mythology that goes on over in the, Cornwall. So this really hits home for me, for traditional craft. So it's really interesting. But yeah, that was really weird. Everybody told me what I glowed yesterday. Am I glowing again today? Anyways, okay. So now it is now generally recognized that the megalithic sites were actually built primarily for ritual and religious purposes. So all of the standing stones, all of that is incredible. So even if we do not know the precise nature of those rituals, in which we really honestly don't, unless we can time travel way back into time, and it's kept up today though. So hopefully, I hope. Where did I go? Oh, okay, so although the Neolithic and the Bronze Age people left no written records, a number of clues can be found in both the construction of the sites and the legends that have become attached to them. I mean, there are so many freaking legends from Cornwall that are incredible, amazing, and it's just a good getaway. It's a good mental, you know, escapism. So yeah, it's everything's an escapism. So now for centuries, a legend has persisted that at Cheesering on Bodmin Moor, a druid priest possessed a magnificent golden cup. Now whenever a huntsman came by, the druid would offer him a drink from the cup, which was inexcusable. So, one day, a hunter who was determined to drink the cup dry. My mind is going in the gutter. So, yeah, he was determined to drink the cup dry. Where'd I go? I don't know where I went. So one day, okay, so he was determined to drink from the cup, and the druid drank the wine until he could drink no more. Now, unable to empty the cup, he angrily made off with it, only to plunge to his death off the rocks, where he and the cup were buried under a round cairn, C-A-I-R-N, cairn, of stones. So, as well as having echoes of bottomless cauldron of Sedwin, from the Welsh, that's from the Welsh text, so she comes from Welsh, the whale Wales. The legend also hints at memories of a druidistic. Oh my god. Yeah, see, I don't know if this vaccine's good or not. Anyways, druidistic priesthood, so who provided, through their knowledge of when to plant and reap, the means of sustenance for the tribe and the perils. It's really interesting. Of challenging or interfering with their wisdom. So, a twist to the tale that in 1818, the relation cairn was excavated not far from the cheese ring, and the skeleton of a man, a bronze dagger, and a gold cup were found. Now, although the legend was not written down until after this date, it is likely that it was in the oral tradition before this, and indeed could have been passed down the generations since the burial itself. It's really, really interesting. I love legends like this. I love the folklore from Cornwall. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So let's take into consideration the folklore from Cornwall if you're a practicing traditional witch, and let's see how far we can go with it. No. What the purpose is to put, literally put not literally, but enflesh the lore and bring it to life within yourself, and then also, you have to take into consideration your own local lore, especially because traditional craft is very regional, as we all know. Now, the relation Barrow itself is near the Hurler's Stone Circle. Reputedly, men turned to stone for playing at hurling on a Sunday. Ooh. Now, a legend almost identical to that of many other stone circles in Cornwall, including the Merry Maidens. What is that word? Tregisil? Whatever. And Boscawen stone circles in West Penwich. So the Nine Maidens Stone Circle at Wendron, and the Nine Maidens Stone Row on St. Breock Downs. This all sounds really familiar, so something's really familiar about all this. So this may well be a folk memory of the use of the sites in pre-Christian times by groups of priests or priestesses for ritual and ceremony that include dancing and movement, and there is some archaeological evidence. I love the archaeological evidence behind all of this. It makes everything even that much better with the craft. With this craft, anyway. Okay, so yeah, there is some but there is some archaeological evidence. Wow, I'm not with it. That dancing was performed at stones in the late Neolithic and early Bronze Ages, and together with drumming, chanting, and the ingestion of narcotic herbs and plants. There we go. Would all have been tools to allow the shamans and the shamankas to enter trance states in order to commune with the guardian spirits of the sites and the dead ancestors. So we have, communication with the ancestral dead. We have a communication with our ancestors. We have communication with, the energies of the land, the genie Loki. So that's really, really interesting, and I like that. So yeah, we don't have much of that here. We do not have really anything like that here. Stone circles that you can actually go through. No, like a stone with a giant circle, so a giant hagstone in essence. Right, now other sites have legends too that tell of former ritualistic practices. At Rosmarion, a few hundred meters from the Merry Maidens Stone Circle, lies a fogu, which is a what is that again? I can't remember. An underground chamber dating back from the Iron Age. Yeah, it's an underground chamber. So, like if you see railroad tracks, those little caves, that would be a fogu, literally. So, now a much later period than the Stone Circle, but it too has a legend. So this time of the devil. This is my favorite one. So this time it's the devil, who was seen piping to the witches, who formerly held their Sabbaths there, so a most distinct memory of pagan rites held there. This legend is very close to that of the Merry Maidens, so in both a figure who is a piper plays wild and strange music for a group of women, maidens at the stone circle, witches in the fogu, who danced around. Does that not sound wonderful? I mean, literally, would that not be the best thing in the world to do? Not right now, but I mean, yeah, as soon as this crap's over with. Now, they are both surely the same memory of the same pagan ritual performed in the area, either at the time of the building of the sites or later. Now, at the Menethol in West Penwich, the legend, and a Menethol is a stone, literally a giant stone with a hole in it, and you can literally put your entire body through it. I mean, my derriere would not fit through there, but I mean, yeah, they're pretty powerful. Where'd I go? So the legend that if you want to be cured of ailments, you must crawl through the holed stone 9 times widdershins, and that's against the sun, so counterclockwise, is perhaps a memory of this circular dance, itself a reflection of the movement of the sun and the moon throughout the skies. So we do have a picture here of the Foogie Hole, which is that right there. So you have to go through that 9 times. You can birth poppets through it. You can do anything. You can do everything with those kinds of stuff. So if you find one and you want to get rid of, like if you're sick or something, whatever, go through it 9 times or around it 9 times, counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, or anti-diesel. This way, widdershins. So that's beautiful. I mean, that is really beautiful. I really would love to go to one of those. They are incredible. Alright, so now 9 is a number. As a number, it keeps recurring, so 9 times 9 times Widdershins, the 9 maidens, stone circle, etc. So 9 may have become a sacred number because it's represented the months of the pregnancy, which itself may have seen as intrinsically related to the lunar cycles, and then we have the 9 months of pregnancy, and etc., so on and so forth. So now more dancing was seen at Bellowall or Barrow, Carn Glues, a large round barrow near St. Just. St. Just. I've never heard of a saint like that. St. Just. So, but this time the legend of its lights burning and rings of fairies dancing in and around it on moonlit nights. So fairies are another name for the ancient tomb builders, either themselves as their spirits, and it has been observed that this folk memory, perhaps of sacred rituals that were, once performed by the last of the megalithic builders. So that's actually really interesting. That's beautiful. I love it. If you guys ever notice the stone circles and stuff, like when you're out in nature, there you go. Alright, so burial chambers are one kind of site where rituals obviously took place. Now, Aubrey Burrell has remarked, quote, gradually through the generations, the great megalithic mounds became temples as well as tombs, shrines where rituals were performed to honor the dead and ask for their assistance, unquote. So it's very wonderful. It's still a very wonderful thing. I love it. Now, many of the entrances of the chamber tombs are oriented so as to bring in the dead into association with the moon or sun. So, for example, midwinter solstice, sunrise at Newrange in Ireland, Gaverness in Brittany, and Bosliac Barrow in West Penwich. Oh, a lot of that came out really, really wrong. Sorry, guys. And, midwinter solstice sunset at Maze Howe on Orkney. God, all of this sounds familiar. And Ballowall Barrow in West Penwich from Chun Quait. There is a perfect midwinter solstice sunset over Carn, where the sun sets into a notch in the rocky outcrop. So also all of West Penwich's entrance graves, with one exception, are oriented between southeast, midwinter solstice, and southwest, midwinter solstice sunset. The first was the sunrise, the midwinter solstice sunrise. So, and Fogos, too, although from a later period, have the orientation of their longest passage of the midsummer solstice sunrise or sunset. So, these are really interesting. These are really, really, really interesting. I love it. I love these different kinds of, legends, and it's just incredible. Alright, so, now in addition, some sites have curious entrance holes, which may have been made to allow the spirits of the dead to emerge for communion with the living, or allow them to safe passage to the other world. Now, one such example is the cutaway in the dividing slab of Tretherby, Quait, near Bodmin Moor. Now, the cup marks on the top of Chun Quait and Mulfra Quait may have also had ritual significance, so set perhaps as, places where libations to the dead were left, a practice still carried out until fairly recent times in Britain. Really? You guys don't do that anymore? That is like big time right here in the United States with traditional witchcraft, so this was, this has parallels with the buried found under Tri Menhir. Contained a cremation with a beaker and an offering of meat. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting right there. In other places, the dead were buried in a ritualistic or symbolic way, perhaps facing a certain direction. You guys all know, how Christians bury their dead, so. Usually bodies were placed facing east or west for the rising or setting sun. But when the Bronze Age burial cemetery was excavated at Harlan Bay near Padstow, it was found that the bodies had been placed with their faces or with their heads facing magnetic north. I have a lot of stuff that faces magnetic north, a lot of stuff. So I have my everything like my fairy crap stuff. Sorry, that was terrible. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's got to be that shot. I don't think I'm gonna get my second one. So yeah, my shungai, all of that. So now clearly here there was a ritual practice that showed an instinctive knowledge of the magnetic properties of the earth, something that experienced dowsers can find today without the aid of a compass, and that's very, very easy to do. It's very easy to dowse. I mean, my father taught me when I was little, like really little. Yeah, we dowsed a lot. It was pretty cool too. Alright, where'd I go? Oh, okay. So to many of these tombs of the dead were brought sacred offerings to make them monuments for the living. So time and again, these offerings consisted of quartz, and it's very sacred too in traditional craft within Cornwall. So the sacredness of white quartz is well attested. Large quartz stones were used to line the entrance of Newgrange in Ireland for the midwinter sun to denote the Samhain sunset at Boscawen stone circle in West Penwich. So to construct the whole stone circle at Dulo in southeast Cornwall, and to mark the orientation of Pendine Fogu in West Penwich, where the passage takes a sharp left-hand bend. Now at many more sites in Britain, excavation had found small white quartz pieces brought to the site as an offering during the construction. I love it. I do. I love it. In Cornwall, this happened at the Harlan Bay Cemetery, at the Hurler Stone on Bodmin Moor, where there was a floor of crushed quartz underlying the central circle. That would be beautiful. Oh my god, the energy. Under a barrow at St. Evall, surrounding the Mengertha Stone on St. Breock Downs. Now, in the pit of a menhir on Longstone, down near St. Austell, and a ritual site on the Trethelin Farm near Newquay. So, Aubrey Burrell speculates that these quartz stones may have been viewed as soul stones, symbolizing the moon to where the spirits of the dead had gone. So quartz was believed to have protective properties, and increasingly in the Bronze Age, in many parts of the British Isles, pieces of it were placed with the dead. So, that is really, really, really interesting. That is really interesting. I do think I have one of those up there. I think it's a Sears stone, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Now, in other places, other kinds of offerings were left. Now, at Goonrith, a standing stone near the Merry Maidens in West Penwich, a beach pebble was found, perhaps indicating that some ritual involving invocation of a sea goddess had taken place there. A similar pebble was found in Obadiah's Barrow on Gug Island, on the Isles of Sicily. Ooh. And on the Cornish mainland at Cairns Barrow, lying between St. Just and Senan, a rich array of grave goods were found, including 12 bright blue fiance beads. That would be beautiful. That would be really honestly beautiful to see all this. So, where did I go? Okay, so the base of the base of a leaf-shaped arrowhead and a perforated heart-shaped stone. Okay, so that's, yeah, we have those around here, I think. I don't know. So now at Escal's Carn Barrow, on the cliff at Senan, a burial cyst contained flints and shells. Now, once again, emphasizing a connection to the sea. Wow. I feel really, really, really bad, you guys. So, now, anyways. Other grave goods, such as pottery urns, glass beads, hammerstones, and bronze fragments, perhaps from pendant ornaments or earrings, have been found in Sicilian entrance graves on the mainland of Cornwall. That's a beautiful. I want to go there. I want to live there. Now, it seems that axes had ritual significance for the dead. And a number of barrows, for example, Botera Hill near St. Just, axe heads have been found, suggesting a ritual significance. The prehistoric Cornish axe industry was a thriving concern, and Cornish axes have been found in many burial sites all over Britain. Now, the axe head carved on the center stone of the Boscawen Und Circle, visible only at the midsummer solstice, sunrise, which I think is incredibly amazing, and I would love to do this and experience this, may be an indication of the local importance of the cult. So, we got a lot going on here. The Merry Maidens, I mean, a lot of, the burial, the Kerns, and all of that wonderful stuff. Now, all of this points to an ancestor cult of the dead. Here we go, and the possible ritual activity associated with it. So this may have included the deposition of animal skulls and bones, grave goods including beads, arrowheads, pebbles, and jewelry, offerings of wine or milk or honey, quartz stones, and soils representing fertility or rebirth. Now, at the tombs of the dead, there would have been feasting and merrymaking and ceremonial activities that involved dancing, drumming, piping, chanting, and spirit journeying. We have a really big connection here with shamanism, with basically every religion that has ancestor veneration, Santeria. Literally, I mean, this is, quartz crystal on La Santísima Muerte's altar. We have that, but she really likes amethyst. But yeah, I just think it's really amazing the connections that we can actually draw to, like all these different, religions and all of the different practices. Now, the dead were thought to have gone to an afterlife, but their spirits remained with the tribe and continued to be present in the tombs and megalithic monuments built to honor them. Now, ritual is not just a part of their lives, it was the way that they lived their lives, and an understanding of this unlocks the key into the world of our megalithic ancestors. So, we're going to shut it there. We're going to shut it off there today. Shut it off. Only I would use a Louis Vuitton bookmark. So yeah, that's really interesting. I love the entire, I've always been obsessed with burial places, always. So it's really, it's interesting, very interesting. But yeah, and especially, calling or, tapping the bone, what we do in traditional craft, that's when we call our, not just our ancestors, but the ancestral dead. So we're really tapping into, DNA of the ancestors, and we're tapping into that stream, that line that connects us with our own ancestors and those that have gone before and those that are yet to come. So that's why, when we're doing ancestral work or whatever, and yes, so that totally brings us in connection with our ancestors. So that is the biggest thing right there in traditional craft, is to be connected with the ancestors. And there we go, that's it. So guys, if you want, you guys can go up here and you guys can go to mysticamber.com and put my name in, RYANE, all cap locks, get 10% off store-wide. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I have got to do something. I've got to lay down, or I don't know, whatever. I feel really weird. It's very strange, very weird. It's not even a vaccination, but whatever. So I love you guys with all my heart, all the way to all the way to Venus. Wow. There we go. All the way back down. Shit hurts. Ooh. So yeah, everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. Stay healthy. And I love you guys. And please excuse this mess of a video. So, yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. So I love you guys.